The train station doors slammed open as icy wind exploded through the building. Snow swirled violently across the empty platform while passengers rushed toward the last departing train. A woman sat alone near the far corner bench, trembling uncontrollably beneath a thin blue nurse jacket. Her fingers were pale from the cold. Her lips shook as she wrapped both hands around a paper coffee cup that barely released steam anymore. Then something unexpected happened. An elderly homeless man nearby began coughing violently. Without hesitation, the nurse stood up weakly and walked toward him. "You need this more than I do," she whispered softly, placing the coffee into his frozen hands. The old man looked stunned. "But sweetheart, you're freezing." "I'll survive." She smiled anyway. The train station manager walked over moments later. "Miss, the Denver train has been cancelled." Her face fell instantly. "What?" "Storm damaged the tracks." The manager sighed sympathetically. "Nothing else leaves tonight." The woman slowly sat back down on the bench. And for the first time, she looked completely defeated. Across the station entrance, Millionaire Cowboy Noah Bennett watched everything silently. Tall. Broad shoulders. Dark denim jacket dusted with snow. Strong jawline. Cold blue eyes that usually intimidated everyone around him. But those eyes softened watching the nurse pull her sleeves over her freezing hands. Most people ignored suffering. She had given away her only warmth while shaking herself. Thunder cracked outside. The station lights flickered. Then suddenly the nurse tried standing again. And nearly collapsed. Noah moved instantly. He caught her before her head struck the concrete floor. "Easy." Her eyes fluttered open weakly. "I'm okay." "No, you're not. I just need a minute." "You need heat." She tried pulling away. "I can handle myself." "You're barely conscious." The station manager rushed over nervously. "She's been here almost 6 hours." Noah looked down at her carefully. "What's your name?" "Emily." "Emily, if you stay here tonight, you're going to get seriously sick." "I can't afford a hotel." Noah hesitated briefly before speaking. "Come with me." She blinked weakly. "I don't even know you." "My name's Noah." "That doesn't magically make you trustworthy." To his surprise, he almost smiled. Even freezing half to death, she still had fight in her. Before the story continues, comment below and tell us honestly, would you help a stranger during a snowstorm? And if you enjoy emotional stories like this, don't forget to subscribe and like the video for more powerful love stories every week. Outside, the storm looked even worse. Snow hammered against Noah's black pickup truck while Emily sat quietly in the passenger seat trying to stop shivering. Noah turned the heater higher. "You should have asked someone for help." "I did." "And?" Nobody stopped. The words irritated him more than expected. The roads were nearly invisible beneath the storm. Emily stared out the window quietly before speaking again. "You're not from the city." "No." "Cowboy?" "Something like that." "You own a ranch?" "Yeah." "You look exactly like someone who owns horses." He glanced sideways. "What does that even mean?" "You have the face." "The face?" The serious silent cowboy face. That caught him off guard enough to laugh once. It had been a long time since someone spoke to him casually. Normally people acted nervous around him. Respectful. Careful. Interested in his money before they knew anything else about him. But Emily sounded normal. Human. And exhausted. By the time they reached his ranch nearly 40 minutes later, the storm had become dangerous. The massive property lights glowed warmly against the darkness. Emily's eyes widened slightly. "This is a ranch?" "You sound disappointed." This place looks bigger than the hospital I work at. Noah smirked faintly. It's old. You rich people always say ridiculous things. He looked at her. Rich people? The truck. The land. The gates. She shook her head weakly. You definitely have money. Noah said nothing. He wasn't interested in discussing wealth. Not anymore. Inside the ranch house, warmth immediately wrapped around them. Emily looked around carefully. The house was beautiful but strangely empty. Large fireplace. Expensive furniture. Perfect silence. No family photos. No laughter. No life. You live here alone? She asked softly. Yeah. That sounds lonely. Most people admired the house. Emily noticed the emptiness instead. Noah gestured toward the staircase. Guest rooms upstairs. You really don't have to do this. It's a storm. You're sick. End of discussion. For the first time that night, Emily smiled properly. And Noah unexpectedly felt his chest tighten. An hour later, he returned with soup and medicine. Emily sat wrapped in blankets beside the fireplace. You didn't have to bring all this. My housekeeper usually stocks everything. You have a housekeeper too? You sound offended. I'm evaluating you. And the results? You're suspiciously kind for a rich cowboy. He chuckled quietly. You always talk this much? Only when I'm trying not to freeze to death. That night Noah couldn't sleep. He stood near the kitchen window watching snow bury the ranch while Emily's words replayed in his mind. That sounds lonely. Nobody had ever described his life that accurately before. 3 years earlier, his wife Clara died during a highway accident on an icy road. After that, Noah buried himself in work. Expanded the ranch business. Bought more land. Made more money. But the bigger his success became, the emptier the house felt. The next morning Emily woke up burning with fever. The local doctor arrived quickly. She needs rest, the doctor warned. Exposure like that can turn dangerous fast. Emily groaned weakly. I need to get to work. No, Noah said immediately. My patients will survive one day without you. You don't understand. No, you don't understand. You almost froze to death. Emily looked away frustrated. Later that afternoon Noah found her trying to answer hospital emails from bed. You're impossible. I'm responsible. You're sick. So are half my patients. He sat nearby quietly. You care about strangers that much? She looked at him strangely. Someone should. The answer stayed with him longer than expected. Over the next few days, the storm trapped Emily at the ranch. And slowly, something changed. The workers loved her immediately. She helped bandage one ranch hand's injured arm. Cooked breakfast with the kitchen staff. Fed abandoned puppies near the stable. Laughed easily. The entire ranch somehow felt warmer around her. One afternoon Noah found Emily standing beside the horses wearing one of his oversized jackets. A small brown horse nudged her shoulder affectionately. You bribed him with apples, Noah accused. Emily gasped dramatically. You can't prove that. You're corrupting my horse. He deserves joy. So now you're therapist for animals too? She smiled brightly. You finally made a joke. I make jokes. No you don't. He stared at her. Then surprisingly, he realized she was right. That evening they sat near the fireplace while snow fell outside the giant windows. Emily held a mug of tea between both hands. So how rich are you exactly? Noah nearly choked on his drink. That's direct. I'm curious. Why? Because people around here look terrified of you. They respect me. No, she corrected softly. They obey you. That bothered him slightly because it was true. And what about you? He asked. What about me? You don't seem impressed. Emily shrugged. Money's useful. But it doesn't tell me whether someone's kind. Noah looked into the fire quietly. You really believe that? Yes. You've never been disappointed by people? She laughed softly. Constantly. Then why still trust them? Because becoming cold sounds exhausting. Her words hit harder than she realized. For the first time in years, Noah felt someone slowly reaching places inside him he thought died with Clara. A few nights later, Emily finally revealed the truth about herself. They were sitting on the porch wrapped in blankets watching snow fall across the ranch. My brother's sick, she admitted quietly. Noah turned toward her. How sick? Leukemia. The word settled heavily between them. He's 17. Emily swallowed hard. Our parents died years ago, so it's just me. You've been paying for treatment alone? She nodded slowly. That's why you were at the station? I pick up extra shifts in different towns. Noah stared at her carefully. You gave away your coffee while working yourself into exhaustion to pay hospital bills. Emily looked embarrassed. When you say it out loud, it sounds unhealthy. It sounds impossible. She smiled faintly. He's my little brother. Noah looked away quickly. Because suddenly his own problems felt embarrassingly small. That night he made several phone calls quietly from his office. The next morning Emily received a hospital notification on her phone. Her eyes widened in confusion. What? Noah looked up from breakfast. My brother's treatment bill. She stared at the screen. It says paid. Noah kept his expression neutral. That's good. Emily slowly looked at him. You did this. No. You absolutely did this. He sighed. You needed help. Tears instantly filled her eyes. Noah. It's not a big deal. To you maybe. Emotion cracked her voice unexpectedly. You have no idea what this means to me. For several seconds neither spoke. Then quietly she whispered. Thank you. Something inside Noah shifted hearing those words. Not because she sounded grateful for the money. But because she sounded grateful for being seen. Later that evening, Emily found him repairing a broken fence outside.
What are you doing out here?
Fixing the fence.
Snowflakes drifted softly
Come
around
inside
them.
soon, it's cold.
You know, she said carefully, most rich men would have made sure everyone knew they paid those bills. Noah kept working. I didn't do it for attention. I know. She stepped closer. That's why it mattered. Their eyes locked. The air suddenly felt different. Warmer. Dangerous. For one brief second Noah almost kissed her. Then his phone rang loudly. He stepped back immediately. Emily looked away awkwardly. The moment disappeared. But neither of them forgot it. Days later, the storm finally cleared. Emily stood near the front entrance holding her small suitcase. I should go back. Noah nodded slowly though disappointment tightened inside him. When will you visit your brother? Tomorrow. I'll drive you. You don't have to. I know. During the drive, Emily talked about childhood memories with her brother while Noah listened quietly. And for the first time in years, he genuinely didn't want a conversation to end. At the hospital, Emily introduced Noah to her younger brother Daniel. 17. Thin. Weak smile. Sharp sense of humor. So you're the cowboy millionaire, Daniel teased from the hospital bed. Emily frowned immediately. Daniel. What? Look at this guy. He's obviously rich. Noah laughed quietly. You're observant. Daniel pointed weakly. He likes you. Emily nearly choked. Oh my God. What? Daniel grinned. I'm dying, let me entertain myself. You are not dying. Okay, okay. Noah watched their interaction carefully. Even surrounded by fear and hospital machines, Emily still created warmth. And suddenly he understood why losing her already scared him. Over the next month, Noah and Emily became inseparable. She visited the ranch constantly. They rode horses together at sunrise. Cooked terrible dinners together. Argued playfully over music. Laughed more than either expected. One night while dancing badly in the kitchen, Emily burst into laughter. You're horrible at this. I'm excellent. You move like a depressed refrigerator. Noah stared at her in fake offense. That was personal. It was accurate. He grabbed her waist suddenly. Emily froze. The laughter faded. The air shifted. Slowly, carefully, Noah brushed hair away from her face. You make this house feel alive again, he admitted quietly. Emily's eyes softened instantly. Then finally, they kissed. Soft. Slow. Emotional enough to leave both breathless afterward. But happiness never stays peaceful for long. A week later Noah attended an emergency meeting with his business advisors. The ranch owned partial investments in several regional facilities, including the hospital where Daniel received treatment. We're losing money, one advisor warned. The low-income treatment wing needs to close. Noah frowned immediately. What? It's draining resources. That wing treats families who can't afford care. And compassion doesn't balance financial reports. Noah stood abruptly. We'll discuss this later. But news traveled fast. Too fast. 2 days later Emily walked into the hospital and froze seeing workers discussing possible closures. Fear instantly spread across her face. Then she saw Noah's company logo on the documents. Her stomach dropped. That evening Noah arrived at the ranch expecting dinner with Emily. Instead he found her standing outside waiting silently. You own the hospital, she said immediately. Noah stopped walking. Partially. And you knew they were planning cuts. It's complicated. Emily laughed bitterly. It always is with rich people. Emily. My brother gets treatment there. I know. Then how could you let this happen? I'm trying to stop it. But you're still part of it. Pain filled her eyes. I trusted you. You still can. Can I? The question destroyed him. You paid Daniel's bills while your company was discussing shutting down treatment for hundreds of families. I was going to fix it. But you didn't. Noah stepped closer desperately. I'm fighting them. After how long? Silence. Emily shook her head slowly. I thought you were different. I am. Then prove it. She walked away before he could answer. That night Noah sat alone inside the silent ranch house feeling emptier than he had in years. Because losing Emily hurt far more than he expected. If you've made it this far into the story, take 1 second to like the video. It really helps the channel grow and allows us to continue bringing emotional stories like this every week. And tell us honestly in the comments, was Emily right to leave? The following days became unbearable. Emily stopped answering calls. Stopped visiting. Stopped smiling. Meanwhile Daniel's condition worsened. Noah threw himself into meetings trying to stop the hospital cuts. But investors pushed harder. You're becoming emotional, one executive warned. No, Noah replied coldly. I'm becoming human. Finally, after another brutal meeting, Noah drove alone through town during heavy snowfall. And somehow, he ended up back at the train station. The exact bench where he first found Emily sat beneath flickering lights. He stared at it silently. Then remembered her giving away coffee while freezing herself. Helping strangers while having nothing. And suddenly he realized something painful. Emily had never measured life through money. Only through compassion. That was why she changed everyone around her. Including him. The next morning Noah arrived at the hospital unexpectedly. Through a partially open doorway, he overheard Emily speaking quietly to another nurse. "I love him," she admitted softly. The words stopped him cold. "But I don't know if love matters when powerful people keep choosing profit over people." Noah closed his eyes painfully. Because she was right. And for the first time in years, he hated the version of himself he had become. 3 days later, the entire town gathered outside the hospital after emergency announcements spread everywhere. Emily arrived confused beside Daniel in a wheelchair. "What's happening?" Daniel asked. Then black SUVs pulled into the parking lot. Noah stepped out wearing his dark cowboy coat. The crowd murmured instantly. Emily looked tense immediately. Noah walked toward the microphone slowly. For several seconds, silence covered the snowy street. Then he finally spoke. "Most of my life, I believed success was measured by numbers." The crowd listened carefully. Profit. Land. Expansion. Wealth. His eyes found Emily's. "But someone recently reminded me that compassion matters more." Emily stared at him silently. Noah continued. "Effective immediately, the Bennett Foundation will fully fund the hospital's low-income treatment wing permanently." The crowd gasped loudly. Emily's eyes widened. And that's not all. Workers behind him unveiled massive architectural plans. A new free medical center will be built beside this hospital. People began whispering excitedly. Noah's voice softened. "It will be named after a woman who spent her life helping others before herself." He looked directly at Emily. "Margaret Carter Medical Center." Emily covered her mouth instantly. That was her mother's name. Tears filled her eyes immediately. "Noah." He stepped closer. "I spent years protecting my money while you spent years protecting people." Emotion cracked his voice slightly. "You changed me." Snow fell softly around them. The crowd faded away emotionally for Emily. Only Noah remained. "I can't promise perfection," he continued quietly. "But I can promise this." He swallowed hard. "I never want to become the man who lets fear destroy compassion again." Emily's tears finally fell freely. "You really did all this?" "No." He smiled faintly. "You did." For several seconds she simply stared at him. Then slowly, she walked toward him. "You frustrated me so much," she whispered tearfully. "I know. You're stubborn. I know. You nearly broke my heart." Pain crossed his face instantly. "I'm sorry." Emily touched his face gently. "But you came back different." Noah leaned into her hand slightly. "Because you reminded me who I wanted to be." Then finally, she kissed him. And the entire crowd erupted into cheers around them while snow continued falling softly from the sky. Months later the medical center transformed the entire town. Families received free treatment. Children survived illnesses they once couldn't afford to fight. Daniel recovered slowly but successfully. And somehow, the once lonely cowboy became part of something far bigger than himself. One evening Noah and Emily sat together on the ranch porch watching sunset colors spread across snowy hills. "You know," Emily said softly, "the first time I saw you, I thought you looked terrifying." Noah laughed. "That's fair. You barely smiled. I wasn't very happy. And now? He looked at her carefully. Now I have reasons to be. Emily smiled gently before resting against his shoulder. For a while neither spoke. Then Noah quietly admitted. You saved me that night too. Emily looked up. At the station? He nodded. I thought I was rescuing a freezing stranger. And? But really, he smiled softly. You rescued me from becoming cold forever. Emily kissed him quietly while snow drifted across the ranch one final time. And years later, people still remembered the story of the millionaire cowboy who found a freezing nurse at a train station during a storm. And how their love changed an entire town forever. Before you leave, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and comment your favorite moment from the story below. And tell us honestly, do you believe real love can truly change a person?